Welcome back to Epic Discoveries. You know how much we love exploring the world, the history, the culture, the food, but let's be real, sometimes not everyone is thrilled to see us, particularly if we're waving around a certain blue passport. Today, we're diving into the intricate and often surprising world of international relations to uncover 10 countries where Americans might find, shall we say, a less than enthusiastic welcome in 2024. Now, this isn't about pointing fingers or fueling stereotypes. It's about understanding the complex geopolitical realities, historical baggage, and current events that shape how Americans are perceived and received in different corners of the world. From travel bans and visa restrictions to cultural misunderstandings and safety concerns, we're going deep to uncover the reasons behind the frosty reception. So buckle up as we unpack the historical context, the political tensions, and maybe even debunk a few myths along the way. Ready for a twist? Let's go! Alright, first up, we're heading to the Korean Peninsula, to a nation that often dominates headlines with its nuclear ambitions and enigmatic leadership, North Korea. Now, you might be surprised to learn that it's not actually North Korea that bans American visitors. That's right. The barrier to entry for US citizens isn't a wall built by Pyongyang, but rather a travel ban imposed by, well, Washington, D.C., renewed for the 7th year in 2023. The US government's restriction on travel to North Korea highlights the very real risks Americans face there. We're talking serious stuff, the potential for arrest, long-term detention, and becoming pawns in a much larger geopolitical chess game. It's a stark reminder that international travel isn't just about packing your bags and booking a flight. This ban, which kicked in on September 1, 2023, effectively renders US passports invalid for travel to, in, or even through North Korea. The only exception? A super rare special validation from the Secretary of State, granted only under extremely limited circumstances, like humanitarian missions or journalistic work. From the Korean Peninsula, we shift our focus to the Horn of Africa, specifically to Somalia. Now, Somalia is a nation often viewed through a lens clouded by its tumultuous past, conjuring images of famine, civil war, and the infamous Black Hawk Down incident. And while those events undoubtedly cast a long shadow, it's crucial to remember that Somalia is more than its past. Today, it's a country grappling with the complex realities of rebuilding, of fostering stability amidst ongoing challenges. Over 8.3 million people in Somalia are in dire need of humanitarian aid and protection. The scale of the humanitarian crisis is immense, a stark reminder of the human cost of conflict and instability. And this is where the US government steps in, not with troops, but with a very different kind of presence, a travel advisory. And let me tell you, it's not exactly encouraging words for Americans considering a Somali adventure. Okay, so, Iran, a country whose relationship with the United States has been, to put it mildly, complicated. We're talking about a history marked by events like the 1979 hostage crisis, an event that really shook the foundations of US-Iran relations. And unfortunately, the situation in 2023 hasn't gotten that much simpler. President Biden, just like his predecessors, renewed the national emergency with respect to Iran, a measure that's been in place since the Carter administration. This ongoing tension, as you can imagine, makes travel to Iran a pretty tricky proposition for Americans. It's not as simple as booking a flight and packing your bags. For those with Iranian heritage, the desire to visit family, especially aging relatives, is incredibly strong. But even for them, the process is anything but straightforward. The first hurdle is securing a travel authorization number, which is essential for obtaining a visitor visa. And trust me, it's not just a matter of filling out a form online. Visitors have to navigate this process with a guide, someone who knows the ins and outs of the system, both for the authorization number and the visa itself. Next up, we're heading to Central Asia, to a country that's as mysterious as it is beautiful, Turkmenistan. This is a land of stark contrasts, where the echoes of ancient Silk Road cities mingle with the futuristic gleam of its capital, Ashgabat. It's a country that only recently, in March 2023, reopened its doors to tourists after years of isolation. And believe me, this is a destination that's truly off the beaten path. In fact, Turkmenistan consistently ranks among the least visited countries in the world. But for those intrepid souls seeking a glimpse into a unique blend of history, culture, and, let's be honest, some pretty eccentric governance, Turkmenistan offers an experience unlike any other. But this journey into the heart of Central Asia doesn't come cheap or easy. Be prepared to shell out a hefty sum, around $1,000, for the privilege of exploring this enigmatic nation. And that's just the start. The Turkmenistan experience comes with a catch: a constant companion in the form of a government-assigned guide. That's right, you'll be spending your entire trip, a maximum of 4 days, under the watchful eye of a guide. It's all part of the country's tightly controlled tourism industry, a reflection of its post-Soviet legacy and the enduring influence of its former president, Saparmurat Niyazov, a leader known for his, let's just say, unique personality. Afghanistan. A name synonymous with conflict, resilience, and a history as rich and complex as its rugged terrain. From its ancient Silk Road heritage to its more recent struggles with war and instability, Afghanistan's story is one that's both captivating and heartbreaking. But for Americans, particularly those with a thirst for adventure travel, Afghanistan in 2024 is a destination that comes with a stark warning: don't go. The scars of decades of conflict, from the Soviet invasion in the 1980s to the ongoing struggles following the U.S. withdrawal in 2021, run deep. And for foreigners, the risks are simply too high. Kidnappings, terrorist attacks, and the ever-present threat of violence are realities that cast a long shadow over this ancient land. The U.S. State Department, in no uncertain terms, advises against all travel to Afghanistan, citing the volatile security situation and the high risk of violence, particularly against foreigners. And for Americans, the dangers are even more pronounced. The absence of a functioning U.S. embassy in Kabul further complicates matters, leaving Americans with little to no support in case of emergency. It's a stark reminder that while Afghanistan holds a certain allure for its history and culture, the current reality makes it a no-go zone for tourism, especially for Americans. Venezuela, a country known for its stunning natural beauty, including Angel Falls, the world's highest uninterrupted waterfall, and the breathtaking landscapes of the Andes Mountains, might seem like an adventurer's dream. But the current reality for potential visitors, especially Americans, is far from idyllic. We're not talking about petty theft or a few scams here. We're talking about a complete breakdown of the social contract. Venezuela's political landscape has been incredibly turbulent in recent years, with the Maduro regime facing widespread condemnation for human rights abuses and corruption. This isn't just political rhetoric, these are real problems affecting real people. Imagine a government so dysfunctional that it can't even guarantee the safety of its own citizens, let alone foreign visitors. The U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory for Venezuela, the highest level of caution, urging Americans not to travel there due to crime, civil unrest, poor health infrastructure, and the risk of arbitrary arrest and detention. This isn't just a suggestion, it's a serious warning. The U.S. government has limited ability to assist citizens who find themselves in trouble in Venezuela. To put it bluntly, Venezuela is in the midst of a humanitarian crisis. Food and medicine shortages are common, and essential services like electricity and water can be unreliable. Imagine going on vacation and not being able to find bottled water or basic medical supplies. Libya, a North African nation with a coastline on the Mediterranean Sea, boasts ancient Roman ruins, stunning desert landscapes, and a rich cultural tapestry. But beneath its surface, beauty lies a volatile reality that makes it a no-go zone for American travelers. Since the overthrow of Muammar Gaddafi in 2011, Libya has been embroiled in a civil war, leaving the country fractured and unstable. This isn't just a political power struggle, it's a conflict that has deeply affected the lives of everyday Libyans and made the country incredibly dangerous. The U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory, the highest warning level, urging Americans not to travel to Libya due to terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, and armed conflict. Imagine a country where armed groups operate with impunity, where kidnappings are a constant threat, and where even basic travel can turn into a life-or-death situation. The lack of a centralized government and the presence of numerous militias vying for control have created a chaotic environment where the rule of law is fragile at best. Traveling in Libya is like navigating a minefield, where danger lurks around every corner, and there's no guarantee of safety. Yemen, a country located on the southern tip of the Arabian Peninsula, is home to ancient cities, breathtaking mountain landscapes, and a unique cultural heritage that has been preserved for centuries. But tragically, it's also a country ravaged by war, famine, and disease, making it one of the most dangerous places in the world. The ongoing conflict has left deep scars on its people and infrastructure. Since 2014, Yemen has been embroiled in a brutal civil war, pitting the internationally recognized government against Houthi rebels. This war has not only divided the nation but also exacerbated the suffering of its citizens. This conflict has plunged the country into a humanitarian catastrophe, with millions facing starvation, displacement, and lack of access to basic necessities. Families are torn apart, and communities are left in ruins. The U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory, the highest warning level, urging Americans not to travel to Yemen due to terrorism, civil unrest, kidnapping, armed conflict, and landmines. This advisory underscores the extreme dangers present in the region. This isn't just a travel advisory, it's a plea to stay away from a war zone. The risks are too high and the consequences can be dire. The conflict has decimated Yemen's infrastructure, leaving hospitals, schools, and water sanitation systems in ruins. The basic services that people rely on have been obliterated. Imagine a country where access to basic healthcare is a luxury, where children can't go to school, and where clean drinking water is a scarce commodity. This is the harsh reality for millions of Yemenis. But the dangers in Yemen extend far beyond the immediate threats posed by the ongoing conflict. The instability has created a breeding ground for various dangerous elements. The country has become a breeding ground for terrorist organizations, including Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, which has repeatedly targeted Westerners. These groups exploit the chaos to further their agendas. It's a grim reminder that even in the midst of a humanitarian crisis, terrorism remains a very real threat. The presence of these groups adds another layer of danger to an already volatile situation. The risk of kidnapping is also extremely high in Yemen, with both criminal gangs and terrorist groups seizing foreigners for ransom or political leverage. This makes travel to Yemen exceptionally perilous. Imagine being taken hostage in a foreign land with no guarantee of release and your life hanging in the balance. The fear and uncertainty are unimaginable. It's a nightmare scenario that no one should have to endure. The psychological and physical toll on hostages is immense. The U.S. Embassy in Sana'a suspended operations in 2015 due to the deteriorating security situation, leaving Americans with virtually no consular support in case of emergency. This lack of support further complicates the situation for any American in Yemen. This means that if you get into trouble in Yemen, you're largely on your own. The absence of diplomatic assistance can be a matter of life and death. The message is clear: Yemen is a no-go zone for Americans. The risks are simply too great to ignore. Alright, let's turn our attention to Iraq, a nation with a history as rich and complex as the very cradle of civilization it's often called. This land, often referred to as Mesopotamia, is where human civilization began to take shape. From the ancient Mesopotamian empires to the present day, Iraq has seen it all: empires rise and fall, intellectual and artistic flourishing, and sadly, more recently, conflict and instability. The layers of history here are almost palpable, each era leaving its mark on the land and its people. In 2023, Iraq opened its doors a little wider to American travelers, allowing visa applications upon arrival for stays of up to 60 days. This move signifies a step towards greater openness and a desire to reconnect with the world. This is a big step towards re-engagement and could offer a glimpse into Iraq's cultural treasures and the resilience of its people. The warmth and hospitality of the Iraqi people are legendary, and visitors often find themselves welcomed with open arms. However, it's crucial to acknowledge the elephant in the room: safety. The security situation in Iraq remains complex and can be unpredictable. The echoes of war, while fading, are still present. The scars of past conflicts are visible in many places, serving as a stark reminder of the country's turbulent history. The U.S. State Department emphasizes the persistence of risks, including the threat of terrorism from groups like ISIS, the potential for kidnapping, and a high rate of violent crime. These risks necessitate a high level of vigilance and preparedness. So, while the allure of exploring ancient ruins and experiencing Iraqi hospitality is undeniable, it's vital to approach travel to Iraq with a healthy dose of caution and awareness. The beauty and history of the land are matched by the complexities of its present. Always check the latest travel advisories and understand that the situation can change rapidly. Staying informed is your first line of defense. Iraq's legal system is quite strict, And as a visitor, respecting local laws and customs is not just polite, it's essential. Understanding and adhering to these laws can prevent misunderstandings and ensure a smoother experience. Dress modestly, be mindful of cultural sensitivities, and avoid any actions or expressions that could be misconstrued, especially those critical of the government or religious figures. Respect for local traditions is paramount. Remember, comprehensive travel health insurance is non-negotiable. This is not just a precaution, but a necessity given the current state of healthcare infrastructure. The healthcare system in Iraq has faced significant challenges, and having insurance that covers medical emergencies, including evacuation if necessary, provides an important safety net. This can be a lifesaver in critical situations. Before you even think about packing your bags, research. Knowledge is power, and being well-informed can make all the difference. Understand the different regions of Iraq, their specific safety concerns, and any areas deemed off-limits. Each region has its own unique characteristics and challenges. Connect with reputable travel agencies specializing in Iraq, and consider joining a guided tour for an added layer of security and local insight. These agencies can provide invaluable support and guidance. Traveling to Iraq in 2024 is not for the faint of heart, but for those with a thirst for adventure, a deep respect for history and culture, and a willingness to navigate complexities. It can be a journey of profound discovery. The rewards of such a journey are immense, offering a deeper understanding of a land that has shaped human history. Cuba. The very name conjures up images of vintage cars cruising along the Malecón, the intoxicating rhythms of salsa music, and the aroma of strong coffee and even stronger cigars. It's a sensory overload that captures the essence of this vibrant island nation. Cuba has long held a mystique for Americans, a tantalizing blend of the familiar and the forbidden. It's a place where time seems to stand still, yet the energy is palpable. While the relationship between the US and Cuba has been, shall we say, complicated, travel restrictions have eased somewhat in recent years, allowing more Americans to explore this enigmatic island. But hold on, before you dust off that old Che Guevara poster and book a flight, remember that a trip to Cuba in 2024 is not your typical Caribbean getaway. It's an adventure that requires a bit more planning and understanding. Firstly, let's address the elephant in the room, the US embargo. This decades-old policy has shaped the landscape of travel and commerce between the two nations. This decades-old policy means that while travel to Cuba is no longer outright illegal for Americans, it's certainly not as simple as booking a flight and packing your swimsuit. There are specific guidelines and restrictions to follow. Leisure tourism, in the purest sense, is still a no-go. You won't be lounging on the beach with a pina colada without a purpose. However, fear not, intrepid travelers, for there are loopholes. These exceptions allow for meaningful and enriching experiences. The U.S. government outlines 12 authorized categories under which Americans can visit Cuba, ranging from family visits and educational exchanges to supporting the Cuban people and engaging in religious activities. Each category offers a unique way to experience the island. Now, let's talk logistics, because Cuba is not a place where you want to be caught off guard. Proper preparation can make or break your trip. Remember that U.S. credit and debit cards are about as useful as a screen door on a submarine in Cuba. You'll need to rely on cash for most transactions. So, channel your inner 19th century traveler and embrace the art of carrying a significant amount of cash. It's a throwback to simpler times, but essential for navigating modern-day Cuba. And speaking of being prepared, always, and I mean always, check the very latest regulations and requirements before you go. Policies can change rapidly. These can shift with the political winds, and the last thing you want is to be stuck in a bureaucratic limbo with a suitcase full of Cuban cigars and nowhere to smoke them. Stay informed to avoid any unpleasant surprises. The U.S. Embassy in Havana is a valuable resource for up-to-date information, as is the U.S. Department of State's website. Both can provide crucial updates and travel advisories. Consider connecting with reputable travel agencies specializing in Cuba to help navigate the complexities and ensure your trip aligns with all the necessary regulations. Their expertise can be invaluable. Cuba, with its vibrant culture, complex history, and unique challenges, offers a travel experience unlike any other. It's a destination that promises to leave a lasting impression. It's a journey into a land seemingly frozen in time, yet pulsing with a rhythm all its own. The juxtaposition of old and new creates a captivating atmosphere. Just remember, preparation and flexibility are key to unlocking the treasures of this enigmatic island. With the right mindset and planning, your Cuban adventure can be truly unforgettable. And there you have it. A glimpse into 10 corners of the world where American travelers might encounter a less than warm welcome in 2024. Remember, the world is a vast and endlessly fascinating tapestry, but it's not a theme park designed for our convenience. If you found this exploration enlightening, give us a thumbs up and share this video with your friends, families, and neighbors. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our future adventures into the captivating realms of travel and geopolitics. Until next time, safe travels, and remember, curiosity, respect, and a well-packed bag are your greatest allies on the road less traveled. See you soon.